This is Utah Phillips, and I'm here in the studios of KVMR, Nevada City, California. A town so small that we haven't got a village idiot. Everybody takes turns. There was an editorial in our local paper here, the Union, which I like, and I like the editorial writer a good bit. He was talking about, well, how different Labor Day is, because there aren't any gifts associated with it, like Christmas or Easter. And I thought about that, and I said, well, now look, the gifts of Labor Day. Start with the 8-hour day, and talk about mine safety laws. Let's talk about child labor laws. Let's talk about overtime pay, minimum wage to begin with. Talk about safety rules on the job, health care. And so that's what we celebrate on Labor Day, is the gifts that our elders way back patiently and through a lot of struggle gave us to enjoy today, and that we have to fight every inch of the way to hold on to. Because we got them no thanks to the boss. These were not benevolent gifts from enlightened management. No, sir, they were fought for, bled for, and died for by people a whole lot like us. As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, 1,000,000 darkened kitchens, 1,000 mil lost array, are brightened by the beauty a sudden sun discloses. And the people hear us singing bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battle too for men, for they are in this struggle and together.
Absolute chaos. Absolute, total chaos. The ice caps will freeze again. Gays will turn straight. The straights will turn gay. It's going to be crazy. No, absolutely not. I can only imagine a higher standard of living and a higher standard of work.
I think it would go a long way to getting rid of poverty and eliminating those that live at the bottom of the barrel. You know, there's too much of a gap between those at the high end and those at the bottom end. The guys at the top have all the wealth, and the guys at the lower end don't have much of the wealth. So I think it would go a long way towards eliminating that.
If everybody was giving a living wage, the people that were doing manual labor and, you know, the really hard, what we unfortunately call menial labor now, would have dignity. They would feel valued for the hard work that they do. They'd be able to support themselves and their children and their families. And I think that's vitally important.
Yes, it's bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too.
Living wage! Yay!
Such optimism, and that's what I want in the labor movement. That's what I want as one of the fruits of this titanic struggle that's been going on for hundreds of years. I want a feeling of optimism, I want a feeling of hope. I refuse to live without hope. Well, now let's drop down to Santa Cruz, California. I had a good friend down there, lived in a flop house called the St. George Hotel, by the name of Tom Scribner, an old communist, and before that IWW logging organizer. He said, well, we all assign blame in our own best interest. But if we assign blame in our own best interest, then blame is relative. And if blame is relative, then the important function in society is who controls the blame pattern. Why would millions of workers, honest working people, assign blame for what's wrong downward? Oh, that's just a bunch of welfare children. They want something for nothing, and never think of assigning it upward to the handful of people who own all this and don't do a damn thing for it. That's because the blame pattern is manipulated. Yeah, Tom said, when we boomed into the railroad yards to find work in the logging camps, we could see the boss's private car parked on this edge of the yard. We could see the mansions growing up around cities like Spokane and Missoula and Seattle, and we knew that that wealth was coming out of our blood and our sweat, underground and in the forest or out in the fields, you see. He said, Yeah, it was a lot easier for us to figure out what we were fighting. The working class. When I turn my faucet, water comes out. When I go to my mailbox, the mail is sitting there. When I throw the switch, the lights go on. Work is being done. I can't do any of those things. I don't know how, and I haven't got the time or the skill to learn. All the things that you can't do for yourself have to be done for somebody else. Now, you want to make sure that the people who do that work, essential to your life, the quality of your life, are adequately compensated for that work. And when they get too old to do that kind of work anymore, that there's enough money there for them to have a dignified and a delightful retirement. And when I look out my window and see my garbage man come by, I realize that he contributes more to my quality of life than I do to his. Next time your garbage man comes, run out and ask for his autograph.
Our pensions are a trust. The vested employees and the retired workers own that trust. The city of Detroit is insolvent. The pensions themselves are not. I see this as an attempt to steal our trust fund.
We did what we were supposed to do, put in the work. And the state constitution says to not touch our pensions. Now, all of a sudden, we're all going to be on the welfare. And they put in that pamphlet, if you find yourself below the poverty level, then you'll have state assistance. And we know how that's going to go.
This money they're trying to get from the workers is not going to get this city out of debt. It's just BS. That's all. It's just one thing. They want to make money. That's all. You know, and if it's at the hands of us, they don't care about that.
To be very honest with you, I've spent my entire life trying to assist other folks and the less fortunate. And this really just hurts me to the core because I look at my fellow people that have had their contracts overturned, that they had won in collective bargaining in good faith, and all of a sudden, it's sad. I'm surprised there's not blood in the streets.
I wouldn't want to leave things on a negative note like that. The songs are still being written. The song makers are still there. The labor movement stirs back into life. not a documentarian. I've got no statistics, no facts. I'm not a sociologist. I'm not even much of an historian. All I can give you are impressions, songs, and stories. You let the images dance through your own mind and see what you come up with.
Working on a ship we may never sail on. Ship gonna sail someday. Working on a ship we may never sail on, but we're gonna build it anyway. Sojourner Truth said, ain't I a woman? Ship gonna sail someday. Mother Jones said, no child labor. Ship gonna sail someday. Dorothy Day said, swords into plowshares. Ship gonna sail someday. And Joe Hill said, don't mourn, organize. Ship gonna sail someday. Working on a ship we may never sail on. Ship gonna sail someday. Working on a ship we may never sail on, but we're gonna build it anyway.
Each participant is subject to arrest.
Working on a ship we may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship we may never sail on, but we're gonna build it anyway. We're gonna build it anyway. We're gonna build it anyway.